All right, live letter number 71 is here. Hi, hello, and welcome. My name is Tequila Shots, and today we are going to be looking at the Discord translations, covering the recent live letter. Just happened earlier this morning. Live letter 71, covering patch 6.2 and 6.25. Shout out to the Final Fantasy Reddit crew who do unofficial translations during every live letter so they can keep us up to date with everything going on. Let's just jump into it. I'm going to make this as quick as possible. I'm not going to go over every single little detail. I just want to give you the TLDR, I guess, on what was covered. So let's try to make this as fast as possible and see what sort of stuff that they announced in the live letter. So starting with the date. They said the date for the live letter is going to be in late August. We don't have an exact date yet. This was part 1 of 2, so there was no trailers, no in-game footage, anything like that. That stuff will be coming later in summer. The patch itself is called Buried Memory. This is first patch 6.2. They did want to remind everybody with 6.18 coming out on Tuesday, there is 24-hour maintenance. So if you didn't realize that already, Monday there will be no 14. Yeah, and just updates. That's just stuff, a sort of a reminder coming in. 6.18, that's on Tuesday. So jumping into the 6.2 stuff, like I said, Buried Memory is the title. Let's see. They showed us a couple images. MSQ, you know, more story. There's really nothing to say on these. Couple new images here. Pretty neat. They are going to expand the Tataru side quest. So if you have not started the Tataru side quest, the Grand Adventure will be continuing in 6.2. So make sure you have that done as well. They do mention for the quest line that you actually have the City of Mach quest line, the Heaven's Ward Alliance 24-man stuff. If you haven't done that already, they do say that that needs to be done before continuing the Tataru quests. Right here, Grand Adventure continues. Players must first complete the Shadow of Mach quest series, so make sure you have that finished if you want to continue with the side quests. What else did they introduce? That was Tataru stuff. Hildebrand. After that, they jumped into some Hildebrand stuff. Hildebrand will be continuing in patch 6.25, not 6.2. So keep that in mind. We did get some pretty random exciting news. This really threw a lot of us off. So not only is Hildebrand coming back, but they talked about new weapon forging, and new weapon forging paired with Hildebrand, I guess. New weapon enhancement quests are coming in 6.25. And with it, we're getting the crossover nobody expected. We got Geralt and Papa Hildy. They're collabing to make weapons. So we're getting enhancement weapons that are tied with Hildebrand and the Hildebrand quests. So you actually need to make sure you do your Hildebrand quest line. They do say so. There it is right there. Weapon enhancement quest 6.25. Unlocked and somehow further Hildebrand adventures, legendary Manderville weapons. Who knows what the hell these are going to be. I'm excited for it, but it's interesting that they're tying it to Hildy specifically. So quest central progression, you do need to make sure you were done all your Hildebrand quests if you want to participate in these weapon upgrades. So you guys better get to it if you haven't already. Let's see. New beast tribes. New beast tribes are also coming in 6.25. These are the Omicrons over in Ultima Thule. We're going to be rebuilding that bar. These are disciples of the land. So these are our gathering beast tribes will be coming up in 6.25. We got a picture here as well. So we're building a space bar, I guess. Please look forward to more gathering. Not much to really say on top of that. New dungeon, of course. New expert dungeon is coming. The Fell Court of Troya. Chat reminded me Troya was a city in FF4. Here's a couple screenshots as well. So this is going to be new, the new expert dungeon, which is pretty typical with a patch. So please look forward to that. They didn't really say anything on top of that. Let's see. After that, they mentioned new trial, which of course they can't say what it is. We got question mark and question mark extreme coming. We have no idea what it is. We could probably take a guess, but we'll have to wait for 6.2 before that comes out. Then they talked about Savage. There is an update coming for Savage, something that they are trialing. So the next Savage Pandemonium is going to be Abyssos. Coming in 6.2, so Yoshi P actually mentioned they are trialing something different. They are going to be pushing the release of Savage by 1 week. So when 6.2 comes out, we're going to be getting the normal version along with everything else in 6.2. They're going to give us a week to play, catch up in other things and not have to rush immediately into Savage. This is something that they're trialing. I think it's a good thing, personally. But they did say it's not set in stone. They said they had requests for and against it. So they're officially calling this one a sort of mock trial timeline. So they're going to be releasing Savage a week later, and they want player feedback, whether they enjoy it or not. So this is going to determine how Savage is going to be released going forward. Yeah, pushing the release of Savage by 1 week. They're both requesting for and against, like I said. Whether or not next Savage will be moved by 1 week will be considered based on the results of the test run and player feedback. So let them know what you think, if you're for or against it, because that will shape how the release schedule may be going forward. So keep that in mind. They did show an image of Abyssos. We got some creepy green spiderwebby stuff going on there. That's all they showed us. So theorize, I guess. We'll find out what we're dealing with next. And then they announced the next Unreal 6.2. We're getting my favorite trial, one of my favorite trials, Sephiroth. Unreal is coming, and I'm very excited. It's gonna be a mess. I can't wait. I love that fight so much. So Sephiroth is going to be our next Unreal. Let's see. Yeah, he chatted a little bit about what did he say? Earthshaker mechanic when 2 people are targeted, the proximity damage removed that. Oh, they removed the proximity damage for Earthshakers. And then tanks also melting during the ad phase. A lot of adjustments were needed. So they had to actually make some adjustments to the fight to probably make it more player friendly, I guess. So I'm sure the fight itself is mostly the same. It's probably similar to like, you know, with Titan being fallen off the side and permanent death and sort of things like that. So it looks like they tweaked it just a slight bit to, I don't know, make it a little more simpler, I guess. Job adjustments. They did say job for PvE and PvP job adjustments are coming. They didn't mention anything specific except for Dragoon and Astro. They had mentioned this prior. That job adjustments were coming. They said they actually aren't ready for it yet, so they have been postponed. They said they're working on it, and that's pretty much all they said. They gave us no details on what they're working on exactly, but they said they need more time. So they said Dragoon and Astro job changes are coming for sure. I think I missed some Crystal Conflict stuff now that I'm sort of backtracking. I think I missed that at the beginning with some PvP stuff. Sorry to backtrack myself. Crystal Conflict Season 2 is going to be starting soon as well. I think probably because I'm thinking of... yeah, we got PvP updates. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're trying to adjust the matching for Crystal Conflict as well. So the pre-discussion queuing at the same time won't work as easily anymore. And then they delayed Astro and Dragoon. That was already said. Aside from that, you know, further job adjustments. Yeah, they gave us nothing else on job adjustments at all. Just that that's coming, really. They did make some changes, or they're going to be making some changes to crit and direct. Planning adjustments for instance in which buffs, debuffs, and attributes related to crit direct hits do not result in expected benefits. I think they're changing how some skills may increase it or whatnot. Skills that guarantee a correct crit direct hit, buffs that increase your crit or DH seem useless with the jobs that use those skills. Implement adjustments here that we'll talk about in the next live letter. They didn't really talk about it very much, but there are some changes coming to it. New rewards for PvP. Yes, season 3 of Crystal Conflict will start in 6.2. Season 2 starts on this Tuesday with 6.18. So we got that. Rival Wings is going to be coming back 6.2. So they took that away for a patch while they were adjusting some things and getting Crystal Conflict up and running. But Rival Wings will be returning, so I'm excited for it. This is as far as we got this time. Oh, 5 dungeons, yes. So next is improvement to MSQ, basically trust dungeons that they started implementing for early ARR dungeons. If you wanted to go in with basically supports, trust, whatever, to accompany you. So they unlocked a few more. So now Snowcloak, Keeper of the Lake, Samal, the Airy, and the Vault are now playable this way. So a nice little update to that. And then they showed us another image. This must be from one of the dungeons. Good old Heaven's Ward here. Now that we're getting into Heaven's Ward dungeons, we got Ezale, which is pretty badass. Astidian and Alfie, it looks like they're going to be able to accompany you in some way in these dungeons, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. Next was MSQ Steps of Faith. Just got Cape Westwinded. Steps of Faith is now a solo quest battle. It must be tied into the MSQ. You can just go into it on your own. Say goodbye to Steps of Faith. They're also revamping Thornmarch. Muggles. They didn't say what they're doing, but they're totally revamping it. They didn't say it wasn't solo. It's still gonna be a trial duty, but I think they're revamping some of the mechanics. I think they're simplifying Mog. For the first 8 main trial and the story, Thornmarch was difficult. We completely revamped it. A veteran might be disappointed by the content now, so no need to instantly go try it out. Wait for it to be in your roulette. So nothing. It seems like something major to. I think they're just totally revamping it to make it more attainable. So it's Mog. So something very, very new that they're announcing. New battle content. I'm very excited for this stuff. They announced two new different types of dungeons. Variant dungeons is the first one. At first, we were thinking it was Deep Dungeon, and they confirmed this is not Deep Dungeon. They are still making Deep Dungeon. This is something totally separate. Mythic, yes. A lot of people seem to be comparing this to like a Mythic Plus, which is a WoW reference that I don't completely understand because I don't play WoW. But yes. Depending on your decisions and movements inside the dungeon, there's going to be difficult routes of progression. So the first one, which is the variant dungeons, this one seems to be a little bit more on the, I wouldn't say the casual side, but variable difficulty dungeons previously introduced as Criterion dungeons. Level 90 casual play for 1 to 4 players. 4-player party when matched. You can match up with this. There's AI that travel along with you. And it sounds like sort of a choose your own adventure dungeon thing they got going on here. So no role restrictions. Any job can go in. Enemy strength is determined by the party size. So you don't have to go in with the party, a full party. The route of progression branches based on player action. So there's different choices that you get to make. And apparently some additional like story stuff coming into it as well. So in order for you to really understand everything that's happening there, they encourage this to be played multiple times. So the first one is going to be actually set in Ul'dah. The variant dungeon number 1, the Sildin Subterrane is the name of this dungeon. So you get to explore the depths alongside with a certain somebody. We have no idea who, but they must be tied to Ul'dah. So for this, yeah, there's an NPC that's going to walk around with you and talk quite a bit. They're going to be expending some lore stuff, I guess. Depending on the route progression, the story will be different. If you want to enjoy the whole story, you will have to rerun the dungeon a couple of times. So yeah, they encourage it. It's a bit of a casual dungeon playthrough with a certain special someone, I guess. They want you to replay it multiple times. They want you to take different routes to really get a feel for everything. That's the one we've already clicked. Here's an image of what to expect. They said that they basically said that this area was very pretty and very G-pose friendly, so I'm looking forward to that too. Further variant dungeons later on, not in every patch, but they have at least another 2 for 6.x series. So these variant dungeons they have, including this one, there's at least 3 going to be released during the during Endwalker. But there is a second mode, a much more difficult mode that is literally going to be a 4-man extreme and 4-man savage content, which I am very excited for. So this one is the Criterion Dungeons, another path. For this one, it is going to be a pre-made. You cannot do matchmaking for this one, so you need a pre-made of tank healer 2 DPS for this content. So they say it's level 90 high difficult challenge for 4-player parties. They do have to have a pre-made for you to be able to do this. Very similar to variant dungeons, but the overall structure, enemy strength is entirely different. The route is predetermined and no NPCs join you. Alongside this, they said with the difficulty in this, it's reminds me of like a DSR or Baldessian Arsenal, because you cannot heal, you cannot raise, excuse me. So the Sildan Subterrane and Sildan Subterrane Savage. So they said the Subterrane, the non-Savage version, is basically an extreme. So basically Subterrane, Extreme, and Savage version. With Savage adding additional difficulties. So Revival will be a content action with limited in use. So you get a limited number of revivals. I think of the Monster Hunter collab on, you know, like steroids, like Savage difficulty wise, which I can't wait. I was a big fan of the Monster Hunter collab. So if you die, for the extreme version, if you die so many times, you only get so many personal revives. But for the Savage one, they actually say that if you die, you die. There is no coming back. If you die and the rest of the party doesn't, they have to carry on without you. Where was this? No methods of resurrection are prohibited. Normal methods, but each player is granted a limited number of revivals. So this is the normal or the extreme mode. If the entire raid wipes, all enemies will revive. I believe they were talking about this in Savage. Maybe this isn't both modes. So if you progress partway through this and the party wipes, everything that you've killed prior to it all revives and you have to start from scratch. So basically you need to be able to make it from start to end without your party completely wiping. That's going to be some interesting difficulty. So for the Savage version, preformed, like I said, all methods of resurrection are prohibited. If you die, you're done. That's it. Until the rest of the party either wipes or completes. All defeated enemies will revive after your KO. And enemies become much stronger after a certain amount of time. If you're taking too long to get to the end, after a certain time threshold, all the enemies actually get buffed. So lots of additional challenges, not only for enemy strength, but you're also dealing with personal health and being mindful of mechanics and being mindful of time. So you want to be able to complete this in a certain amount of timely manner. Otherwise, it's going to only get harder the longer it takes. I can't wait. I think this is so cool. I think it's going to be refreshing, and it's going to be exciting to do some stuff with 4-mans. So I think it's a very fun and smart and refreshing way to add more difficult content. I thought that was a big highlight, and I can't wait to try it out myself. Let's see. Managed to implement a lot of difficult content with varying difficulties. Hopefully they enjoy the most. At this point, they did take a break, and the second half was mostly covering Island Sanctuary. Now that we've gone over more difficult stuff, we're taking the other routes, and we're going to enjoy some incredibly casual content, which I'm also very excited for. There's a lot coming with Island Sanctuary. So they, at this point, they took about a 15-minute break. When they came back, they introduced Island Sanctuary. They said there's still quite a few bugs right now, so they couldn't show any in-game footage. That stuff's going to be shown in the next live letter. Every single player is going to be getting their own island and Island Sanctuary. Um, they showed a screenshot. They couldn't show everything because they're still working on it. So this screenshot here is the island, and if you see this tiny little beach, if you can see this tiny little speck, that is a Rogadin. That is a Rogadin. Just to give you an idea of the scale of the island. It's going to be huge. Everybody gets their own island. Build your own personal island sanctuary, casual solo gameplay, so you can gather materials, care for creatures, build facilities, craft items, and more. Everything that they list that happens in Island Sanctuary is its own. They say that you get your own inventory. It has nothing to do with your personal inventory. You get a brand new inventory specifically for the island. It has its own currency, so you don't have to worry about spending gil in there at all. All of the items that you're gathering, crafting, and everything have nothing to do with outside gameplay. Everything that's you do on the island is only for the island. So if you want to benefit from it and whatnot, you don't have to worry about resources outside of the main game, I guess. Let's see. No experience as disciple, land, or hand is required. You do not need to be a crafter or gatherer to play or enjoy any of this. They really emphasize that this is casual content meant to be played, I think, sort of long term as we go on. So basically, you get your island and you start from scratch. Materials you gather on the island are specifically made for island content. It's a separate inventory for it, and they don't clutter your normal inventory. If a player that only wants their own island, isn't really interested in developing it further, that's totally fine as well. So you gather materials from nature. Like I said, everything is separated. You can craft tools from these gathered materials. These must be special tools for harvesting, gardening, whatever they have planned. I think they did say so. Island Sanctuary, by the way, is coming in 6.25, not 6.2. So 6.25, not right away. Tools to help new resources more effectively. Let's see. Influence on one of the solo content. You can grow crops, plant and cultivate seeds you find on your island. And you can care for various creatures. And yes, we're getting Pokemon, as I like to think of it. Keep an eye out for rare coloring and unique critters. So shinies, in my mind. I want that rare Spriggan. It will be mine. They also said that any of the minions that you basically have that you can put on your island, there's a certain area, I guess, that you can sort of just let them roam. You can actually name all of them too. So that's fun. You can name all your critters. Build a base of operations, customize its appearance, and unlock further tools for development. And you can release the minions, like I said. Your favorite minions may wander freely within your base, and you can also name them. A special currency is what you use to require rewards. So they obviously have some sort of exchange there. So there's probably some rare stuff or items exclusive to Island Sanctuary for those who do sort of grind it and get this enough currency to buy that stuff. I'm guessing it's not necessarily marketable. We think of this as rather comfy and casual content. We don't expect players to go ham on the island developments. Flying is going to be on the island. Flying will unlock at some point. Mount speeds are rather high, I think. They said there was no aether currents though. So maybe you have to develop your island or build so far maybe to unlock it. Maybe like a tier system or something. Maybe flying just comes through natural progression. Earn rewards. Exchange accumulated island currency for special items. They didn't say what. Yeah, so they said there's no aether currents, but you will have to explore. So we'll see how we unlock flying in this. You can invite visitors. A lot of us were worried if it was going to be locked to you, or if you can visit other islands or have people come and visit you. You can, which is so cool. Invite visitors to travel to the islands and friends and free company members. To the islands of friends and free company members. I wonder if that's limited to your friends list. And free company members specifically. I wonder if you can visit anybody or if it's limited to who you're friends with. Maybe I'm reading too into it. We'll see. Chat asked if NPCs can come to visit, and they said feedback. Feedback's important. If that's something that we want to see going forward, then let them know. if and they'll consider integrating that in the future. During the initial process, you develop the bare minimum on the island. Everything after that is completely up to you. So everybody progresses at their own pace, whether they want to or not. They said the weather changes as well. They said it's mostly sunny on the island, but the weather will change as time goes on. More details, more in-game stuff to come in part 2 of the live letter. So what else did they mention? That was pretty much it. Oh, they're still testing this part, but they can play, apparently you can place an orchestrion in the base of your island. The further you get away from it, the further the music will sound. So it sounds like something just sort of immediately where you build your main hub, which is still cool for just when you're puttering around your island there. Adventure plates are coming out of beta 6.2. They said there was actually a lot of bugs and stuff with it, a lot of stuff that they felt it was a little clunky, and they're completely reworking it, I guess. Yeah, the portrait linking system, was too confusing, and we rebuilt it. Unique, translating from beta from official. They're revamping the system essentially to make it simpler. They did say, by the way, when this does come out, any portraits you guys have taken, it's going to be completely wiped. You're going to have to redo your portraits from scratch. But the little quality of life stuff coming with it as well. The confusion came as a result of us trying to cross one portrait into too many different features. I think they didn't like the fact that I noticed that PvP, anybody who didn't link their image before sort of went to like this default mugshot image. I don't think that they really wanted that, but there it was. And it was happening to a lot of people because they were confused on how the system itself worked or didn't implement it properly. So I think they found that it was actually way more confusing than they intended it to be. So it sounds like a lot of it is going to be revamped. Previously created portraits are going to be gone. Editing is going to be different. Adventure Play portraits and search comments may be edited from the Adventure Play interface. Portraits may be updated to reflect current equipment. Oh, that was a thing too, was your portrait updating with whatever equipment you were wearing at the time instead of keeping whatever you were wearing in the original pose. I believe that is changing. They're also doing settings for jobs. So now you can set a portrait for each job. And I think I'm guessing, as you change your jobs, doing whatever you're doing in the world, your portrait will change accordingly to how you set it to that job. So if you want different gear sets, different poses for different jobs, I think it's going to work that way. That's the way I understood it. And hopefully that's the case. So whenever you swap jobs, you can change it accordingly, or you have to change it yourself. I'm not too sure if it'll just happen automatically or not. Right now the portrait's only showing in Crystal Conflict, but in 6.2 we will add it to Mahjong as well. So all you Mahjong players, enjoy your in-game portraits. Working on portraits showing in Dungeons too, but we haven't finished that feature yet, so it will be a bit further in the future. So they are going to implement it, or at least they're considering it. It looks like they're working on it at the time, so that'll be cool. I think the simplest piece to put in is just Dungeons, especially because it's 4-man, right? So I look forward to that. It's a neat little quality life thing, I think. They mentioned Mahjong there, implementing new poses. Oh yeah, they're gonna implement new poses, animations like LBs. Decorative features are gonna be added. Feature for copying the pose camera settings for portraits added. So to me, it sounds like you could set a particular pose or however you want to set up, and you can, instead of trying to re-implement it for different job portraits, they're gonna be able to kind of copy paste maybe. Some of those things to make it simple. So like I said, they're trying to make it less confusing and simpler to understand, and just some quality of life stuff. So that's nice. We're running out of names for Allegan tombstones. This feature had a lot of requests. Can you other oh yes. Oh yes, okay, so new Allegan tombstones. Causality are added with new high eye level crafting gear is going to be coming in 6.2. This was big. Quality of life 1. We finally got it. The ability to request repairs from other players in duty. No more being midway through the fight and being like, "Ooh, I forgot to repair. Everything's broke. We need to leave and come back in." That can be requested now in whatever duty that you're in. So both inside and outside duty now, you can request to have your gear repaired. A simple thing, but highly requested. So thank you for implementing that as well. They also added a new sort of visual when you're going through your skills. So if you're going through your player actions, there's sort of a new, I don't know, a tree style, I guess, to showcase like combos and upgrades. So certain abilities, when they get higher leveled, what they turn into, things like that. They said if you don't want to do it this way, as you can see in the bottom there, you can do it the original way. So it looks like they have list mode, which is what we currently have. But if you want to do this other style, that's probably helpful to newer players for sure. Again, quality of life, simple thing. And if it's going to help players, then I'm all for it. Let's see. Working on the display of actions and display combos. If you prefer the old version, you can swap it. Yes. Glamour Dresser. Glamour Dresser capacity has expanded. Thank the Lord. 400 to 800 pieces now you can put in your Glamour Dresser. Now we just need more plates. What? They also added rare materials to ethereal reduction. So mining, botany, fishing, any ethereal reduction you do, they actually have rare items that are not meant for crafting. I think I don't know if they're just meant for selling or just rare items to have in general. I'm not sure. They didn't really expand on that. They got rid of some, what did they get rid of them? Adjustments to the order of certain return to Evilise quests. The quest making bacon bread and walk on by will become unavailable. It just sounds like they're removing that from the Evilise quest line. So if you haven't done it yet, you don't need to now. Let's see. Was there anything else? They're going to show more footage. At this point, that was pretty much it, actually. At this point, they were doing announcement stuff. They said, you know, by the time all this is implemented, the next Ultimate's going to be right around the corner. That's all they said. No hints or anything like that, of course. And that's pretty much it. At this point, they were doing announcements. I'm not going to cover any of that sort of stuff. They talked briefly about the Primals Blu-ray coming, I guess. So that's coming to be on sale. Their recent concert will be on Blu-ray. Immerse Game Pack, they're doing a sale. They're doing some updates to that, some quality of life stuff. So now there's going to be a promo with 20% off. And then some cafe or some TV show stuff. That was pretty much it. So, and that was it. That was everything announced in 6.2 and 6.25. I hope that watching this was helpful. I tried to make this as quick, concise. You know, I just wanted to do a very quick run through so you had an idea of what to expect. Guys, don't forget, Monday for 6.18, there will be 24-hour maintenance. Keep that in mind. And yeah, that was everything for 6.2. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. And I will see you in the next video, I guess. Have a good one. Thanks.